it's me, Miss Borek. I am back to read you another great story, and actually I have a treat for you because today is the first chapter in our new chapter book. This chapter book is called, wait for it, Flat Stanley, His Original Adventure. Original Adventure means that this is the first book in his series. This is a series, so if you like it, you can read more, like the Magic Treehouse, how they have like 1,000,000 books. There are tons of Flat Stanley books too, okay? So if you totally are into this story, feel free to do some research and find the rest of the Flat Stanley books. They're amazing. I know you're going to love it. I promise you, okay? All right, my friends. I almost forgot. As always, we want to read with a purpose. We are doing this for a reason. Today's reason is, how would you describe the main character? If you notice, my bubble in the middle is blank. That's because I need your help. We need two things. First of all, we need to know who's the main character of our story. Yes, I think you're right. Flat Stanley. So in the middle of my bubble, I'm going to write Stanley. Now the next thing that I need your help with is, what type of a thinking map do you think we should use to describe Stanley? I'm going to let you think for a moment. You're right. It's a bubble map, bubble map. All right, my friends. So we are looking for branches with bubbles of adjectives that we can use to describe our friend Stanley. So let's go ahead and turn first to the table of contents. And let's see how many chapters are in this book. There are 5 chapters. We can tell by the table of contents. 5 chapters in this book. Today we're going to start with the first chapter called The Big Bulletin Board. And don't forget to look for ways to describe Stanley. Now remember, these must be adjectives, okay? Because adjectives are used to describe nouns. And Stanley is definitely a noun. He's a person. So let's go ahead and turn to page 1 and let's learn a little bit about Stanley's adventure. Oof. I wonder who that little boy is. He looks a little worried. Let's read why. The Big Bulletin Board. Breakfast was ready. I'll go wake the boys, Miss Lambchop said to her husband, George Lambchop. Just then their younger son, Arthur, called from the bedroom that he shared with his brother, Stanley. Hey! Come look! Hey! Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop were both very much in favor of politeness and careful speech. Hay is for horses, Arthur, not people, said Mr. Lambchop as they entered the bedroom. You try and remember that. Excuse me, Arthur said, but look! He pointed to Stanley's bed. Across it lay an enormous bulletin. Let me back up and read that again. That's what good readers do. Across it lay an enormous bulletin board that Mr. Lambchop had given them a Christmas ago, so that the boys could pin up pictures and messages and maps. It had fallen during the night right on top of Stanley. Oh my, but Stanley was not hurt. In fact, he would have still been sleeping if it weren't for Arthur shouting. What's going on here? He called out cheerfully from beneath the enormous bulletin board. Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop hurried to lift it from the bed. Oh, heavens, said Mrs. Lambchop. Gosh, said Arthur, Stanley's flat. Don't forget about our question. We're working on ways to describe Stanley. So what's one way? What's an adjective that you can think of to describe our main character, Stanley? That's right. In the last sentence on this page, his brother Arthur said Stanley's flat. So we are going to write down on our bubble map, full at. That's an at family word. Full plus at. Do you guys hear the full at? Yes. Awesome. Let's go ahead and keep reading and see if we can find out some more ways to describe Stanley. "How's a pancake?" said Mr. Lamb Chop. "Darndest thing I've ever seen." "Let's all have breakfast," Mrs. Lamb Chop said. "Then Stanley and I will go see Dr. Dan and hear what he has to say." That's an interesting way for his mother to react to him being flat. Because I know if I woke up and one of my kids were flat, I would be like losing my mind, chicken with the head cut off, running around, "Somebody help me!" I would not be like, whatevs, let's just go have breakfast. No, not me. So they went to go see Dr. Dan after breakfast. "Then Stanley and I will go see Dr. Dan and see what he has to say." In his office, Dr. Dan examined Stanley all over. Examined means he took a close look at Stanley. Let me see. You look okay. In his office, Dr. Dan examined Stanley all over. "Well, how do you feel?" he asked. "Does it hurt very much?" "Well, I felt sort of tickly for a while, but after I got up," Stanley Lamb Chop said, "I feel fine. I feel fine now." "Well, that's mostly how it is with these cases," Dr. Dan said. "We'll just have to keep an eye on him." Before I turn the page, I want you guys to think. I know that there's at least one, maybe two ways on this page that we can describe Stanley. So think about those adjectives that they used on this page. I know that Dr. Dan was asking Stanley how he felt, and Stanley said he felt tickly. Ooh, so tickly. We can use tickly to describe Stanley. Tickly, 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 tickly. Tickly, tickly. I like saying that word. It's kind of funny. You try it. Tickly, tickly, tickly. It sounds better too if you kind of get the wiggly, wiggly when you say tickly. So tickly. And then there was also, he said after he woke up, he felt a little tickly. But then he stood up. He got up and he felt, what was it? You're right. Fine. He felt fine. That sounds like a bossy E word to me. It is a bossy E word. F-I-N-E spells fine. Let's turn the page, keep reading. "Sometimes we doctors, despite all of our years of training and experience, can only marvel at how little we really know," said Dr. Dan. "Mrs. Lamb Chop said that she thought Stanley's clothes would have to be altered by a tailor now. So Dr. Dan told his nurse to take Stanley's measurements. So he is now being measured for new clothes because his mommy thinks that his clothes are not going to fit anymore." Mrs. Lamb Chop wrote down all of the measurements. Stanley was 4 feet tall, about a foot wide, and only a ½ inch thick. Holy moly, you got 1 inch and a ½ inch. That's how wide he was. So if he turned to the side like this, he'd only be that wide. Oh my goodness, he sure is flat. You can definitely use the word flat to describe Stanley this time. But there were more words there. There were more words on this page that we can use to describe our little friend Stanley. You're right. He is 4 feet tall. So we can write down 4 F-T, that stands for feet. He is 4 feet tall. 4 feet tall. Now, if we wanted to, we could add a tell me more here, and our tell me more could be 1/2 inch thick. Holy moly! And we could also add another tell me more and write 1 foot, because he was 1 foot wide. Don't forget that, friends. All right, boys and girls, let's turn the page. That's the end of chapter 2. That's the end of chapter 1, and the next page starts chapter 2. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. I'm just going to check back through and make sure we got all of our words away to describe our friend Stanley, and I think we did. I am going to review my map really quickly. How would you describe the main character? I can describe the main character, or Stanley, as flat. I can describe him as feeling fine. I can also describe him as a little bit tickly. Woo. And lastly, I can describe Stanley as 4 feet tall, a foot wide, and a ½ inch thick. Those are all the ways that I can describe Stanley. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am so excited to be able to read to you. I miss being in class and reading to you every day. So please continue to watch these videos because I love being able to read to you guys. I miss you guys so much, and I'm so excited that you watched this video. And if you like it, let me know, okay? I am so in love with reading these books to you. I'm so thankful for technology, and I can't wait to get back in the classroom and read face to face so that I can hear you guys, I can see you guys, and I can give you guys high fives and fist bumps and just elbow bumps, you know, and just see you. I miss you guys. I thank you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to reading chapter 2 to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Love you.